From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, time once again for another edition of The Horse's Mouth here on Buzz TV. Back at the bar, back at Tommy Mac's talking business, international business this time around. Brought to you by my good friends at Goodfellas Cigar Lounge and Spirits, the Brust Nutter Wealth Advisory Team at Ponte Vedra Beach, and the Southern Grill down there in the South Bank. Some of the best food you will have in the city. Go check them out on Flagler Avenue. David Sillick is back from Tab Jacksonville, and our guest is Sheldon Halcrow from Caleo Capital, all the way from South Africa. Look at the reach we have here, David. How about that? Good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah. Our first international guest in a
I think
while.
so.
Yeah.
I think so. I love the blue, man. I'm not a Gator fan. I'm not an anti-Gator fan or a Gator, but big week in Jacksonville.
Well, you know me. I've got a foot in all sorts of camps. I'm a Buckeye. My son went to Florida. My daughter went to Florida State.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I've got all sorts of shirts in the closet.
Your closet looks pretty good then. Big week here in Jacksonville
Yes,
with
it
the
is.
Florida-Georgia weekend.
It'll be fun.
It is always fun. I love having it here. All right, let's welcome our guest, Sheldon Halcrow. How are you? From Caleo Capital.
Yeah.
I get that right?
Caleo
enough?
Capital, but close enough.
Okay. You're from South Africa.
Correct.
You've been here 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
And you're handling a bunch of different family offices. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the idea. So,
Great.
Pretty much started, I suppose. It was never the long-term goal was never to set up an office in the States. Just a number of very high net worth families from South Africa had chosen the US as their home. And we that necessitated us opening an office. You can't manage American money sitting in South Africa or Johannesburg. So we opened an office in the States, a number of partners, and I put up my hand. I said, game for this, let's do this.
Good for you.
So yeah, 7 weeks in, I think still settling.
Okay.
Not as easy as I assumed.
Yeah.
Now, are you a traditional wealth management firm, or are you investment capital, private equity?
So we can do a broad spectrum, but really it's probably best defined as wealth advisory and asset management. Wealth advisory and asset management for a high net worth base. There's unashamedly, it was really born from the South African link. But what we realized that we probably do better than anyone else that we've met, certainly along the East Coast so far, and I admit that we've only been here a very short while, is accommodating those families that are new into the US. That comes with some complications, everything from regulatory, having assets spread across the globe, different jurisdictions, the currency conversions, it becomes complicated for tax and the tax compliance. So I think that's what we probably do better than anyone else that I've met so far. Not a huge business, as I mentioned. The idea is we look after a handful of families. So it's in that high net worth space. Yeah.
And are you CPA? Do you have
CFP? So I'm CFP. I don't know the background. So back in South Africa, I'm a registered trader. I've been doing that for a number of years.
Cool.
The difference is, I don't know, South Africa, you've got 50 odd countries, you've got 50 states over here. But in those, there's a handful that might have a stock exchange. There's many of those, only have 7 or 8 shares listed. South Africa's got the biggest exchange, and we only have 300. So it doesn't really compare. You've probably got, 11 exchanges across the states over here, so it's on a level different to anything that we've been used to. But a lot of what we would do as South Africans, those would externalize funds and hold wealth internationally on a lot of the European platforms. But again, it's different. Once you've made the US your home, most of those families are saying shift everything across. But, we realize that very often the conversation talking to one of those clients extends far beyond just, well, what do I do with my assets? How do I convert some currency? They're asking questions around, well, now that you're based there, what do we do with kids in schools? How do we get the kids into schools? What carrier do we use for a cell phone? How do we what bank do we open up an account with? We figured that was going to be easy. I suppose the one question that gets asked more than any other was, how easy was it to set up a business over here? I think it's easier than I spent some time in Zurich. That's particularly difficult. You've got to learn to speak German or French. But once you're here, the first thing you probably need is an ID. Pretty straightforward. So everyone says, well, to get an ID, just go and do your drivers. That's the easiest way to get an ID. You get a nice little card, put it in your wallet, that's your ID. So to get the drivers, you need to buy a car. To get a car, you need a bank account. But then to buy the car, you need some credit. The banks are not going to give you credit because you're brand new here.
Right.
Then I would think we all speak the same language as much as we speak with different accents. You
Yeah.
get to the car, and they call it a hood and a trunk and a glove compartment. I don't know what they were talking about. Space for your gloves. Why would I need gloves? I don't understand this.
Right.
And
I'm
then,
in Florida.
And then you get in the car, and before you can drive it, you need some insurance. But I pay double what you pay on insurance because I've got a 30-year track record. I've never bumped a car, but I pay double the number. And then you get in the car and you start driving, and I've got to put petrol in, or gas. But I put in liters, and I suddenly I don't know what gallons are.
Right.
And you put on the temperature, and that's in Fahrenheit. I don't know the conversion. And then I turn on the radio. I'm nervous.
We're pretty backwards.
I'm nervous
Oh,
before
my
we
God.
start, and I turn on the radio, and all I hear is adverts for legal firms. I'm going to lose my pants if I bump someone. So that's mentally that when you get so it's, I think the best, and you've heard them say the same way that a fish doesn't notice the water. Your day so far, a lot of what may have happened subconsciously. You know your way to work. You drive on the right-hand side of the road. When you talk to anyone, you probably don't hear the accents. But for me, when I engage anyone with the drive to get to the studio, before I got the car, now you got to learn to drive. And you guys drive on the wrong side of the road. I've got to figure out driving. I've got to figure
Operations are tough.
driving on this side. And when you engage anyone, you really got to concentrate. It's not just about the accent, but the different words. So anyway, I think it's a context that most people don't realize. But when you're new in the country, that's very real.
No, and I get it from your side. You're like, I'll go there, set up shop, be no big deal. Then all of a sudden you got all these. All right, how can people find you as we wrap up here?
So that's the
best
website.
way?
Probably the best way is the website.
Okay.
Caleo Capital-USA.com.
Okay.
That's the easiest way for clients to find us.
Great.
And again, the one thing I think we do better than anyone else is wealth advisory, asset management for affluent clients that are relatively new to the country, that are trying to find their feet.
Okay, great. Well, we hope we can bring some families to you for sure.
And very concierge type of approach.
Yeah,
to it, sounds
yeah.
like.
So it's always going to extend beyond just the asset management, guiding families, and it's all, we've realized it's all about networks. So listen, so you're going to need to talk to a CPA. I can talk to someone, this is someone I can do the introduction. We've got a guy down the road, go and speak to the banker. The banker understands your context, he's going to open the account.
We're really connected here, so if you need some help, let us help you, all right?
Okay, I appreciate that.
Sheldon, great to have you on the show.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
David, always
Thank
a
you very
great
much.
job, my friend. Hey, 7 weeks in to United States, and he's just kicking ass already. How great is that? Love meeting new people here on the show and all the great stuff they're doing out there in the community. If you like these kind of conversations, go check out more at iwannabuzz.com. Till next time, stay safe and be cool out there. We'll see you right here on the Horse's Mouth. Cheers.